Alright, welcome to the channel. My name is Wes, and today we're going to be going over a very simple trick to help your static B-roll just look a little bit more fine-tuned and make it a little more interesting than just a flat, just kind of boring shot. So I have an example for you here. It's just me. I've already slowed this down to 50%, but it's just me walking through these trees right here. So in that in itself, it's just kind of boring. So what we can do is we're going to go up, make sure you're under your effect controls here. You're going to go over, make sure your video is clicked on. You're going to scroll all the way to the left, hit this scale button. It's going to be at 100, and we're going to create a keyframe there. Scroll all the way to the end of your video, all the way to the last frame, and you change this to say, let's say 130. So what that's going to do is slowly zoom in on your video. Instead of it just being a non-motionless static shot, it's going to zoom in nice and slowly. So if we go back here and play this forward, you can see it's kind of creating a very slow zoom forward, and you barely notice it, but it makes those static shots just look that much better. So let's go over another example here. I have this little clip here of my family kind of walking forward, and that's pretty boring. So what we can do here, we're going to take this all the way down back to the start of the clip. Make sure this is checked. We're going to make keyframe at 100. Scroll all the way to the end. And change this to say, let's go more this time, let's say 150. So when we play this back, you'll see it kind of creates a slow movement forward, like you were zooming in. And that's just a little bit more interesting than a static shot. So here's another one here. Okay, so here's another example. This is just a static shot of a tree with the snow. It's slowed down 50%. It looks kind of cool, but we could make it look a little bit better. So let's try that zoom technique on this one. So we're going to scroll all the way back to the start of the clip. Check the scale. It's at 100. We're going to move it all the way to the right. And when we change this, it's automatically going to make another keyframe for us. So let's do 130. Okay, and when we play that video back, it just creates a nice slow zoom in, which looks a lot better than just that static shot. So here's one more. We're going to do the same thing on this one. Make sure the video is checked. Scroll all the way to the left. So my scale's already on, so we're going to make a keyframe. Go all the way to the right to the last frame. Let's go 145. You don't want to go too far in, because then it's going to start to look a little grainy. So keep that in mind, kind of play around with it, see how far you want to zoom in. Sometimes it's only like 115, 120, sometimes more. So let's go 145. So you can see that zoom in there. So let's start at the first. So you can see instead of just a static clip of me looking around, it's like a slow zoom in, which looks really good. A lot better than just a static B-roll shot. Let's try, you can do this not just with the scale, you can zoom out as well, but let's try it with this one, and we'll delete these keyframes here. So now we're back to the original. So see, it's just a static shot of this snow falling in front of a tree. So another thing we can do is you can pan from like left to right. To do that, you will have to zoom in a bit. So let's take our scale, let's uncheck that. Put our scale to, let's say, 120. Then what we can do, change our left and right position. Change it over to the left. You'll see the black come in, so you would want to just barely get rid of that. Make a keyframe there. We can go to the end of the video, into that clip. We're going to go all the way to the right now. You'll see the black, so just bring that in a bit. Right there looks good. Maybe a tiny bit more. If I can stop clicking on the wrong stuff here. Okay, right there. So now when we play that back, we're going to get a pan from left to right. It's kind of not a super steady shot. But that's kind of the point, is creating fake camera movement like you were zooming in or out or panning from left to right when you actually didn't. So it makes those static shots just look a little bit better when you're doing your B-roll. So that's the tip I have for you today for making fake camera movement for your B-roll. These aren't the best shots, but you know, I'm not a professional, but these are small things that I do in my videos to make the B-roll it just looks a little cleaner, like you were doing camera movement when you really weren't. So make sure to check back for more small tips on how to make your B-roll and your videos better. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.